one of the things that we focus on a lot, especially with our 7-step framework, is the elimination of processed foods, because what I'm hearing in your journeys is not necessarily always what you add in that creates the healthiest diet. It's what you move out. It's the Cheetos every day. It's the gluten-containing grains. Like, where do you guys currently fall in the eating habits, this relationship to processed food, how it's so invasive, how it's everywhere, and how do you just empower people to become more aware of that and help educate them a little bit on the importance of, hey, maybe these easy, quick choices of food are not serving you in the long run?
I think maybe hitting on the last point there, the elimination diet teaches you a lot about how food interacts with your body. And I think everyone should go through a period of 30 days of just eliminating processed foods.
I agree.
And seeing how you feel, but then reintroducing other foods, because you figure out your baseline at that point, and then you can reintroduce other foods and see how they interact with your body, see how they affect your energy, your sleep, your workouts, your focus when you're working. It affects basically your entire life, right? This is a food and fuel you're putting in your body. So an elimination diet, I think, is great for just building those data points for a person to be like, okay, I can actually take control of this health journey because I understand how this food is affecting me. And I think that's a really important step for everyone to take. And then from there, it's like, I mean, for us, we eat an animal-based diet. We preach the animal-based diet. But we also think it's really a lifestyle, not a diet. You're trying to just make it something that is seamless. Like, it shouldn't be something that you're just always thinking about. It's like, this is just what I do. Yeah. And it's a part of my life. And I don't think about it all the time. I'm just kind of like,
love that,
on the highway driving 60 miles an hour, like cruise control.
Yeah. Love it. Cool.
Yeah, I would say that the other thing too is it's going to take a little bit more energy and intentionality to eat this particular way, and like getting out of the mindset of always optimizing for taste or convenience. Like, getting DoorDash or Uber Eats delivered to your front door is like the antithesis of everything that we're talking about. Yeah. It's like, for us, for myself, like, I didn't know how to cook at all. Like, I remember freaking burning the shit out of a steak or not really knowing how to cook ground beef, but like, that was my baseline and that was my starting point. And I think just teaching people, if you can just take control of the food you put into your body, and even if your starting point is just, you're going to commit to like cooking all of your meals for a week straight and just see how you feel, that's an amazing starting point too. But it's like we're so wired as a society to think like, oh, everything needs to be optimized for, saving energy and convenience. And it's like, no, it's the energy and the intentionality of what you invest in your decisions. That's where all the gold is. Yeah. And then you look back in a year and you're like, oh my gosh, I lost 20 pounds. My skin is great. I healed these stomach issues, all because I was so conscious of taking control of the food that I put into my system. It's amazing what that one decision can do for your life.
Yeah, I love that. And I say it like, if you make easy choices consistently, life gets hard. Definitely. If you make hard choices consistently, life gets easier. And that's exactly what you're describing, right? It's like this just hedonic treadmill at the edge of our fingertips for DoorDash and other things that we rely on so much for these quick hits of dopamine. And it requires a little bit of awareness at first, a little bit of discipline to delay that gratification, to not hit DoorDash, and to learn how to cook a steak, and to watch the YouTube videos, to figure out how to master the grill. But if you do the harder thing now, you're going to have an easier life, because you're going to find health. I mean, we know health is the best thing. Definitely. But you said something, Harry, that's super important, that it's not just all about the food either. It becomes a lifestyle. Like, this animal-based isn't just about how you feed yourself, it's about how you live. And something we focus on here a lot is habits, and how we intentionally design our life. So I'm curious, what have become some of the cornerstone habits for you guys that you feel are really supportive of health, that might not necessarily have to do with the diet, but might be more to do with, I don't know, sunlight, or how you walk, or how you stimulate play, or connections, relationships? What are some of the things that really stand out for you in the habit realm?
Walking is one for me that stands out for sure. I think if you can get a morning walk in 30 minutes, I'm just speaking from my own experience, that sets the tone for the rest of my day. I find it to be this incredibly therapeutic 30 minutes where you're getting sunlight, you're getting a little bit of exercise, you're getting outside, and by the end of it, you come back and you've basically cleaned the slate. So any lingering thoughts or things that you've been maybe like brought into the night and like just slept on and didn't really like get over, any lingering thoughts you've kind of erased by the time you get back home. And for me, I think that foundational habit is something that leads to a lot of other positive changes that can happen. So, a 30-minute walk in the morning can lead to you then maybe consistently going to the gym a little bit more,
Yeah.
or being a little bit more focused on what you want to prioritize in your day because you spent 30 minutes on a walk thinking about what meals you're going to have that day.
Boom.
And really anchoring your thinking in like, okay, this is what I'm going to eat. This is what I'm going to do for exercise today. And then, you do it. And so I think that walk for me has always just been a cornerstone habit.
Definitely.
Sounds like you're generating a lot of momentum, right? There's
Yeah.
a cheesy line I always throw out, like, if you win the morning, you win the day.
Totally.
And if life is just a series of days, you can look at it like from a sporting analogy that like we're playing this season, but it's over hopefully 80 years, and it's not about winning and crushing every single day, but it's about winning more days than you lose, and that becomes then about focusing on what we're in charge of now, generating momentum, and the best place to do that, and I agree with you fully, is in the morning, because even if the rest of the day derails, at least you can look back to the morning and be like, all right, I got my sunlight, I did my walk, I did that thing. But you're much more likely to win the rest of the day when you're bringing that momentum into the remainder.
Yeah.
And what about you, brother?
I think it's very similar. And to add on to what you're saying, I think there's now a lot of criticism around morning exercise. Of like, there's a lot of research of, the body is better primed to exercise midday or in the afternoon. And it's like, I get that, but we're not just doing it from a physical perspective. Like you've mentioned, the person that I am when I get a light run in the morning or a training session or a sauna session in the morning, it's literally two different people.
Yeah.
I'm happier, I'm more motivated, I'm better on our show, I'm more engaged. It's like it's genuinely two different people. It's almost like a priceless investment. So that consistent morning exercise is huge, but something that we've really enjoyed is really being intentional about sourcing our food from local farms and ranches, and kind of scheduling 2 big meals a day around those ranches.
Yeah.
And those meals. So for us right now, we just moved to a new place that's right across from Local Pastures,
Cool.
which is a local farm store in Austin. They source it's basically looks like a food truck, but it's really like a little grocery store, and they source their stuff from a few different local farms. So we go there once a week. We load up on our steak, our meat for the week, bone broth, cheese, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And we have it scheduled out. Like just even like getting the metrics of, hey, I know that if I'm eating 2 meals a day, that's probably about 2 pounds of meat. I have it all budgeted out, and I throw in some ground beef, I throw in some steak, I throw in some chicken, and I just bake my whole eating schedule around this one awesome trip. So not necessarily a daily thing, but it's like the ritual of going there every single week, being intentional about how we're sourcing our food, and that leads to the preparation to set yourself up for a great week. I think we get ourselves into trouble when we don't have the fridge stocked and we're like, we'll just go out and eat, or like when everything is ready to go in the fridge, it primes you to really take control of that food and those meals that you have.
Yeah, I love that. And you've been able to kind of make that more holistic expression of this entire movement, this lifestyle again, by voting with your dollar and putting that back into the hands of our local farmers and our ranchers. And something we were talking about before we went live on the show, we're kind of, I don't want to sound dramatic, but we're kind of at war with this big food system, right? This monster of, the push towards maybe more of a plant-based agenda, the shelves in the supermarket just filled with ultra-processed food because it's cheap and it's profitable, but the cost is our health. And the way in which we're going to change that, of course, it's a grassroots movement. I don't think it's going to come from any top-down system or the government coming in and saying like, all right, yeah, we messed up, sorry, but we got really rich. It's like a citizen scientist movement. It's you guys living, it's me living, and it's telling our stories again. And I think that's what it's all about. Hello friends, if you enjoyed that clip, then you can watch the entire thing by heading to this link over here, or you can find us wherever you find podcasts by searching Radical Health Radio. If there's value here, please hit that like button, let us know in a comment what your biggest takeaway was, and hit subscribe, support the show as we support you. We'll see you soon.